completed long back, many of them, these A batches. After that, I'm seeing a lot of people from UK satsang and lot of US satsang and many more satsang people also, especially Sundar from UK and Raji from UK. Very nice to see all of you again on this platform, for which also we have to thank Sriman Narayanan. Wish you all a very good, happy learning of the week, meaning you got the nice faculty. Our senior director, Ramanujan sir, Dr. Ramanujan sir, he will explain in detail. I'm only just wanted to brief the importance of satsang. I'm sure after completing this A batch, you all, sorry, A in India and BB abroad, you all would have been in some sort of satsang. I'm sure. Vishwanath, you can also check up later on during the course of 1 or 2 weeks also, because we request everybody to be a part of the satsang. Sometimes it may not be possible for them, but they should be a part of the satsang so that they will know the various programs, international programs, whatever we are doing. Again, that is optional. If possible, we can join or like that. But if still anybody has not joined it, it is also right time that they can join any of the satsang anywhere in the world. That's one thing. We have 2 type of platform for satsang also. Before that, I think all of us, you know the importance of satsang. After learning this Mahamantra in 20 days, we are eligible to be a part in this satsang. Because learning this Sahasranamam in the class is only for ourselves, for my family, like that. Whereas satsang is a commitment to the society. We always believe if the society is good, we will be also good like that. Especially Sahasranamam, we know the only dharma in Kali Yuga for our Hindu dharma. So when we are doing that, why not we take it to through various satsang? So in India, at least we have decided, we have formed also in every small village also, from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. In every villages, we started looking for, we are already having it. Vishwas so-and-so place like this, Vishwas Delhi, Vishwas Maharashtra, Vishwas Kerala, like that. And that in US and other countries also now we started doing it. So we have 2 type of satsang, one batch wise, which is also now going on well in US, and also location wise in anyway, as of now we are not disturbing the US, but other parts, supposing in your batch, if anybody is in UK, they can join UK, or anybody is in Karnataka, Kannada language or Telugu, it is one more opportunity. They can get in touch with any of the coordinator, or they can get in touch with me also, so that you can tell many people to join. Not only those who are completed in the session, but also your relatives in India, anywhere, they can be a part of this satsang. And one more thing, I wanted to share a good news from ISKCON. For the last 3-4 weeks, we are doing a tie-up with ISKCON. This was Global and ISKCON. I'm sure some of them must be joining in that there also to participate in that 1st November Rajyotsav day. We have been, even tomorrow morning also, it is coming on the live YouTube, morning 5 to 7. Out of which 2 hours these are from US and 1 to Australia, like that. So they have given, after seeing our chanting for the last 3-4 weeks, they appreciated, and they have been telling the other counterparts of ISKCON to be a Vishwas is a model. Vishwas global team is a model for chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam in this technical, that is in the technical chanting transfer. Within 5 seconds, I think we have kept a backup in all satsangs. That is one thing which I have to appreciate, especially the US team headed by Mridula ji and Umaji, all our leaders. During backup, in fact, ISKCON appreciated. If one person is not here, in another 5 seconds, the other person comes without the knowledge of anybody. It is something which is to be appreciated, and we have started practicing in India also like that. So the entire world is appreciating the Vishwas global chanting, the way how we are doing it in class, after that also. That is one thing I want to congratulate and share the happiness. And also, I've been telling in all my occasions about more volunteers. Volunteers are also coming, but still we need, because the growth is enormous. So the last 6 months, we have created about more than 80 to 90 satsang. In addition to that, we have in India, Chennai, almost 100, nearly 300 satsangs are functioning under Vishwas. That itself is a great miracle of Vishnu Sahasranamam. So we need more people in the institute. We have divided, I think, people in US, Aarti, headed by Aarti and others, they are doing. In the class, there are a lot of coordinators. A lot of people are there coordinating satsang, like Pranita ji and Alagapan madam, like so many people are, I'm seeing it on the screen. One is pre-class activities, and another is in-class. In-class also, there are a lot of coordinators and faculty like that. Third is after class, there is satsang. So we need volunteers all over the world. Supposing if, of course, US, a lot of people have registered also. You can tell a lot of people to join this mission. That is the only one way we can commit back to the society. I still request anybody can join anything, even a small, they can be a spokesperson of Vishwas, they can post it, in fact, in YouTube to recruit more people for students like that and formation. Let us just think what best we can do for Vishwas overall. Once again, my sincere good wishes, praying Sriman Narayan for you all to understand his proper meanings of each namas. Good luck, praying Sriman Narayan. Over to you back, Sir Vishnunaji. Thank you, good luck and good wishes to you. Thanking Sriman Narayan. Namaskaram. Om Namo Venkatesaya.
Thank you, Sridharan sir. Before we begin, Guruji, to start talking today, make sure that we will follow the same guidelines as we did in the level A course. As soon as you log in, please put in your full name in the chat. So that will be helpful for us to track. Don't forget, because there's a lot of people, it will be very difficult to follow up with people individually. So as soon as you log in, please remember to put in your names in the chat. Okay. Thank you very much. Guruji, Rambhadran sir, it is to you, over to you.
Okay. Sir, one thing, while welcoming Dr. Rambhadran sir, only one more thing what has been not informed by Vishwanath ji. Here, this sloka, Rambhadran sir, of course, today he will not be taking because he will be talking the mainly the concept of understanding the meaning, and maybe Dhyana sloka's importance he will be talking, and maybe from whatever it is. And when we start from Viswam to Vanamali, he will say one sloka one time only. And as usual, all of us have to say in mute, and Vishwanath will call, or any coordinator will call one student to repeat what said. Again, there is not a correction class. There is only what everybody will get an opportunity to expose themselves in front of Guruji, what they have learned. So you get another 2 times to chant the sloka. That is one thing. But again, I repeat, of course, you don't need to be corrected now with all your experience. But still, we thought of giving another opportunity to chant his namas like that. That is one thing. And also last 10 minutes, we are keeping for any doubts clarification. And during each nama, each sloka, let us not disturb Guruji or class anything, because that's what the practice we have been doing it for the last 1 year. At the end of the session, we keep about 10 minutes for that. That is why we requested you to keep a note pad or pen or whatever you can note down, so that Vishwanath will give time for that to understand, to ask any question. And I said that it is our Guruji, all well experienced. You will try to give maximum clarification. And also I say it is a combined study. We share our knowledge like that. That's okay, sir. Am I right? Any other thing to be told, sir? Rest you can take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. And sir will first few minutes or sometime he will talk about the concept of understanding this nama. Why should we learn the nama? Then before he takes the namas, maybe next session like that, he will give the importance of knowing, understanding the nama and chanting. As I said, you are all chanting nicely, but now understanding the namas and chanting, it will be more beneficial to all of us. Namaskaram. Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Om Namo Venkatesaya. Shuklam Baradaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vaibhrahmanitaye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha Yasya Smarana Matrena Janma Samsara Bandhanat Vimuchyate Namastasmai Vishnave Prabha Vishnave Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalaspatikakritim Adharam Sarva Vidhyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhit Bhavatu Me Sada Lakshmi Natha Samarambam Natha Yamuna Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Sada Siva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Krishna Priyaya Vidmehe Nama Bhaktaya Dhimehi Tanno Guru Prachodayat Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha Tam Namami Harim Param. Om Namo Venkatesaya. Pranams to everybody. Welcome all of you into this course on learning the meanings of the Vishnu Sahasranamam, the 1000 names of the Lord. So before we start the actual meanings, or before that, I just want to give a background about the Vishnu Sahasranam itself. And before that, I just want to explain to you what is the purpose in knowing the meaning of the namas. Now, All of you are so eager to know the meaning of the names of the Lord, and therefore you have registered well in advance with the various mandalis. Now, the Shastra says that it's enough if a person chant the names of the Lord. That is, you'll have to just recite the Vishnu Sahasranam, and definitely you will get all the benefits that are listed in the Palashruti of the Vishnu Sahasranam. There is no need to know the meaning of the Lord for you to get all the benefits. In fact, even in Srimad Bhagavata Purana, which is a quintessence of the Bhakti movement of Lord Krishna, one of the charitra there is about the Ajamila charitra, which comes almost in the 6th canto of the Bhagavatam, which is of 12 cantos. There is a story of a Brahmin called Ajamila. He was from the Kanyakubja region. So he was a very ardent Vedic Brahmin, and he was practicing Vedic rites and rituals and so on. So during the course of his life, he derails himself and then falls into some bad company, and therefore he gets associated with a Vaishyastri, and therefore he leaves all his dharmas, leaves his wife, leaves his children, and so on, and finally settles with her and begets children through her also. About 10 children are born. The last child's name is kept as Narayana. So he was very much fond of this child, Narayana. So at the time of his, so he grows, about 84, 87, 88 years old, his death, his appointed time of death comes, and therefore the Yamadutas, the Yamakinkaras come, and then they throw the noose at his neck. So out of fear, he immediately chants he immediately calls out his son, Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. He was very much devoted to his son, who was standing somewhere nearby. So immediately, as soon as he chanted the name of Narayana, the Vishnu Dutas comes from Vaikunta, and therefore they stop the Yamakinkaras from taking away the life of this Ajamila. So the Yamakinkaras are very much upset. They are saying that, why are you stopping us? Who are all you people? He said, we are all Vishnu Dutas. So why are you stopping us? Do you know what kind of sins this man has committed? So they list out the sins which he has done. The Vishnu Duta says, yes, we all know that. We completely agree with whatever you have mentioned about his sins. Then why are you stopping us from taking his life and taking to Naraka? So immediately the Vishnu Duta says, don't you know that he has done atonement for all his sins? He said, what atonement? Then he said, he uttered the name of Narayana at the time of his death, and therefore that is an atonement for all his sins. The Yamakinkara says that he didn't call out your God Narayana, but he only called out his son Narayana. But then immediately Vishnu Dutta said, the moment he utters the name of the Lord, in whatever bhava, even he may be calling his son, but immediately the moment the name is uttered, my Lord asks us to come here and then save this soul. And that's why we have all come here. So there is a conversation going on between Vishnu Dutas and the Yamakinkaras. And there he says, the Vishnu Duta says, that uttering of the divine name of the Lord completely removes the sins, even though the person may not be aware of how it works. The example that they give is the case of medicine. We fall sick and then we go to the doctor. The doctor examines us and prescribes a set of medicines, and we go to the doctor and then we take the medicine. We don't know what the contents of the medicine are and how it works, and ultimately we get cured. We don't need to know that. So that's how the Vishnu Dutta says that the moment a person utters the name of the Lord in whichever bhava it is, not even remembering about the Lord, the miracle works and all his sins are completely removed, and therefore he becomes a punyatma. So the point I'm making is, just by chanting the Vishnu Sahasranama without even knowing any of the names of the Lord, you are fully assured of the benefits that are enshrined in the Palashruti of the Vishnu Sahasranama. So then the question comes, if it is so, why should I know about the meanings of the Lord? Now let's try to answer that question. If you chant Vishnu Sahasranama just for the benefit of whatever you want to get out of that, you need to be more mechanical. You'll have to spend time and then start chanting it. And then after some point of time, the mind will become completely, keeps wandering on different things, although your mouth may be chanting the name of the Lord. Now, once you know the meaning of the Lord, now if you take the 1,000 names of the Lord, the names of the Lord can be categorized into, four groups. It can be classified into 4 categories. Swarupa, Rupa, Guna, Vibhava. Swarupa is what? Swarupa means the inner nature. The inner nature of the Lord is Satchitananda. That means existence, consciousness, and bliss. That is the inner nature of the Lord, Satchitananda. For example, you find the name of Dharmakup Dharmakrit Dharmi Sadasat Charam Aksharam. There you find the name Sat. Sat means existence, absolute existence. That is existence in all periods of time, past, present, and future. So that is the Swarupam. That is the inner nature of the Lord. Then next is Rupa. Rupa means form of the Lord. So you have the name Chaturbhujaha. Chaturbhujaha means he has got the 4 arms. So that means he has got the Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, which he holds in these 4 arms. So that is the Rupa. So Rupa, Guna. Guna means the qualities, good qualities of the Lord. For example, there is a name called Bhakta Vatsalaha. Bhakta Vatsalaha. Vatsa means the young ones or the calves. So Vatsala means Lalayati. That means the God, like a mother, how the mother fondles the child. So the Bhagavan fondles all his bhaktas and has got a lot of love and affection for his bhaktas. So he's called as Bhakta Vatsala. That is one of the gunas of the Lord. Bhakta Vatsala. So Rupa, Guna, Vibhava. Vibhava means in his various leelas, he has taken different avatars, Rama Avatara, Krishna Avatara, Narasimha Avatara, Varaha Avatara, so many avatars. And he has done several leelas. For example, you find the name Damodara in Vishnu Sahasranam. The Damodara Vrittanta is when Yashoda ties the young Krishna with a rope on his belly. Udara means belly or stomach. Damo means rope. So that means when he is tying into that, when Yashoda ties that rope onto the Krishna's belly, that he was called as Damodara. So once you start remembering about Damodara, then immediately you think about the Leela of the Lord. So once you start knowing about the gunas of the Lord, knowing that, oh, God is so kind. For example, there is a name called Vegavan. Vegavan means very fast. It refers to the Lord's episode in the case of Gajendra. When the elephant king, Gajendra, uttered the name of the Lord, immediately the Lord in Vaikunta, in a split second, he came up. He didn't even look at the Purana says that his uttariyam, that means the upper cloth, was completely falling off. But he even did not notice it. So he came back at the next second. He was at the tank where the Gajendra was there. So such was the kind of fastness, Vegavan. So once you learn all these gunas of the Lord, the leelas of the Lord, the God has been so kind. So you slowly start developing love and reverence for the Lord. So once you start developing the love and reverence for the Lord, the bhakti in you starts germinating. Bhakti germinates in one's own heart. Once you start germinating bhakti in one's own heart, your love and then reverence for the Lord goes on and on. Finally, a stage will come. You won't even ask for anything from the Lord. That's what Bhagavan says in Bhagavata Purana. He says that my bhaktas don't even ask me anything. They don't want anything from me. They just want me alone, me and me alone. So that's why when they say bhakti is the 5th purushartha, the 4 purusharthas is dharmartha, kama, moksha. These are the 4 things which normally any devotee asks. But the 5th purushartha is the bhakti. That means love for its own sake, nothing else. We don't need anything beyond the love with the Lord. Like the mother loves the child. Does the mother expect anything returned from the child? Nothing. The mother simply loves because it's my child. So similarly, Bhagavan loves the bhakta, and bhakta loves the Lord like anything. He doesn't want anything else from the Lord. One of the Alvars in South India, there are 12 Alvars. He is called as Tondaradipudi Alvar. He says, Pachema Malepol Meni, Pavalavai Kamalachangan, Achuta Amararere, Ayartham Kolunde Yenum, Ichuvai Tavira Yanpol, Indira Lohamal. The people who know Tamil can understand. Ichuvai Tavira Yanpol. That means I'm enjoying. He is a great devotee of Lord Ranganatha. Every day he goes to Ranganatha, does archana to him, praises in all his gunas and so on. He says, Lord, don't give me even any other post, because Lord says you are a punyatma, so I want to make you the Lord of heaven, Indra. He says, I don't want even the post of Indra. I just want to be with you and just chant the name of the Lord. There are many acharyas who say they don't want to even go to Vaikunta. I don't want to come to Vaikunta because I enjoy all the utsavas, the festivals and all those things associated with that. So such is the kind of love that will start developing in you once you start knowing the name of the Lord. Once it happens, once you know the meaning of the Lord, once you chant Vishnu Sahasranam, the meaning will automatically go into your mind, and slowly it will develop the love and reverence for the Lord. And that was the purpose for which we started this course on knowing the basic meanings of the Lord, so that over a period of time, you start developing the love and bhakti for the Lord. That itself will bring you a lot of benefits, no doubt about it. But then ultimately, bhakti for its own sake, love for love's own sake is what is expected out of knowing about the meaning of this, meaning of the names of the Lord. That is the purpose for which we started this Group E course. So ultimately, at the end of this 25 25 sessions of knowing the meanings of the Lord, definitely you will have some understanding and some reverence for the Lord, and slowly it will inculcate the kind of love and affection for the Lord as it. So that is the purpose of starting this course. So now let's move on to the regular Vishnu Sahasranama message. Before we go into the meaning, the first portion is about the conversation between Yudhishthira and Bhishma. So now before that, I just mentioned broadly about what Vishnu Sahasranam, the birth of Vishnu Sahasranam, where is it found, and so on. Now, in this world, people say there are about 7.5 billion people around in this globe. So 7.5 billion of different ethnicities, different linguistics, different nations, different cultures, different attitudes, so many things, each one of them are different. But one thing which is common in all of them is everybody wants happiness. Why human beings? Even all beings, even the animals, birds, everybody wants happiness. The only thing is each one thinks that by doing something else, the means of achieving the happiness, people think differently. For some people, maybe getting a good job is bringing them happiness. For some people, getting a good spouse is happiness. Getting a good children is happiness. Getting a good house is happiness, and so on. So that's how everybody thinks that the means for achieving that happiness could be different for different people. So the common denominator is everybody wants happiness. So whatever we want is classified into 4 categories. That's what I said initially, like dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So first you start with, in terms of evolution, the first is artha. Artha means wealth. So when you start our life, we all feel completely insecure, emotionally insecure, physically insecure. We don't have a house, we are living in a rented house, and so on and so forth. So we want to do something to get money. We feel that money can buy us all these comforts, remove that security as such, insecurity as such. So we go to different countries, earn there, and then build a good house, and then finally the security needs to some extent gets fulfilled. Insecurity is to some extent is lost. Therefore, then what happens? The next stage is the artha. Then comes the kama. Kama is desires. Once you have the insecurity need is being completely fulfilled, you come to a situation. Why not I go for a big house? Maybe initially you thought maybe a 2-bedroom house or 3-bedroom house sufficient. Then you thought, well, let me go for an independent house. Why should I stay in an apartment? I can afford that. So let me have a good, comfortable life, and so on. Let me go for a world tour. Then all those things. Then let me. Now, if you take a car, the purpose of car is to provide transportation. So whether it is a Toyota or BMW or Benz, all of the purpose is the same. Then you think, why not I go for BMW? Why not I go for Benz, and so on and so forth. So then you shift from artha to kama, fulfillment of all your desires, enjoyment, and so on. Then subsequently, even with all those things, you don't feel so much, content in your life. So you feel that, okay, I got all these things in life. So what is the purpose of my birth? Why am I born in this world? So you start thinking on those lines. So then comes the dharma. That means then I got to do what is I'm supposed to be doing as a dharma. Dharma means dharyate anena iti dharmaha. That means what supports this entire universe is called dharma. So what I'm supposed to do? So I do all this dhanam, I give in charity. Then I start following some of the paths which are laid down in the shastras, and so on and so forth. So after fulfilling this dharma, finally the purpose of this human birth is to attain moksha. That is the 4th aspect. Because the one great thing, even Adi Shankara says in Viveka Chudamani, a person who doesn't realize that he has got the human birth is given only for the purpose of attaining the moksha is a waste. That means yes, the birth given to him by the Lord is complete waste, and he has done a atmahati. That means he has done a suicide of his atma. So then at that time you realize that the moksha. So at that time you come to all these satsangas, knowing Vishnu Sahasranama, knowing Bhagavad Gita, all those things are come. So this is how the evolution of the human beings takes. So all these things are completely, completely followed through in our Vedas, because our religion people call it as Hindu religion, but Hindu religion is something which the Westerners have kept the name for us. Our religion is called as Sanatana Dharma, or the ancient Dharma, or Vaidika Dharma. Vaidika Dharma is Vedas are the basis of our religion. That means if Vedas say something, we accept it as it is. If Veda doesn't say anything, we don't accept it as it is. So the proof of all our religious activities is dharma. So our dharma is called as Vaidika Dharma. The greatness about our religion of Vedic Dharma is, number one, of course, it is ancient. And number two, there is no person who has, created this Vedas as such. Created in the sense who is the author of these Vedas. Because the Vedas are said to be the, what you call the breath of the Lord himself, the Brahman. The breath of the Vedas is, the Brahman is Vedas. So they are all found in the form of various waveforms throughout this entire universe. So nobody can destroy Vedas. Even if the physical copies or whatever is destroyed, still they can be retrieved, because it's called as Ananta Vaivedaha, means Ananta Vaivedaha means endless is the Vedas. Now the Vedas are in all waveforms. So what the rishis do is, when they, in the course of their meditation, they tune their mind in a particular frequency, and all these various forms, the Vedas are in different waves. They are able to retrieve this Vedas through their mind, and therefore they are able to say what this Veda, this particular mantra is, something. That's why the rishis are called as mantra drashta. Mantra means the various Vedic chantings. Drashta means one who sees, That's why he called a seer, no? S-E-E-R for the hermits. So the person who sees in his meditation. For example, when you chant Gayatri mantra, you say that Savitriya Rishi Vishwamitraha. That means the Gayatri mantra was seen by, the rishis are not the creators of the Vedas. They are seeing that Veda mantras in the various waveforms. So Savitri, the Gayatri mantra was seen by Vishwamitra Maharishi. And that's how we gave this mantra. So the Vedas are in different forms. Now the Vedas, there are certain injunctions in the Vedas for people who can know Vedas, or who can practice Vedas, or to understand the meaning of the Vedas. So then later on, the various rishis like Vedavyasa thought that since it is confined to only very few people, how do we bring it to the common man? So everybody should understand what is the purport and what is the how the Vedas are to be followed. Because Vedas are all theoretical knowledge. So, supposing if you look at the Taittiriya Upanishad, it says, Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava. That's all it says. Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava. It says, treat your father as God. That's all it says. Now, how to do that? So what is the, so you have that is the theoretical knowledge, and we come to the practical knowledge. How to follow that? That's how the Puranas and Itihasas are called Upabrahmanas. That means they are the practical aspects of the Vedas. So the basic substance is only Vedas, because nothing which is not which is not in the Vedas, it cannot be accepted by us, because of ours is Vedic Dharma, and therefore the Pitrudevo Bhava. That means how to treat God, Father as God is something. Ramayana, the Itihasa came as Ramayana, where Lord Rama implicitly obeys what his father Dasaratha Maharishi said, and he went for the 14 years of forest, and that's one example of that. So Satyam Bada Dharmam Chara is another Vedic mantra. Dharmam Chara means you follow the path of Dharma. Ramachandra Prabhu walked through as a human being how to follow the Dharma. That is what is enshrined in the Ramayanas. So like, in science we have the theory and practice, So we have the science, we have in chemistry, we have 2H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O. That means 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen gives water. So that is theory, equation. But then you go to the lab and then you do electrolysis. Through electrolysis, you split the water and you find oxygen and hydrogen are in the ratio of 1:2. That's how you practically prove yourself what the theoretical knowledge said was correct. So similarly, when the Vedas said all these things, the Puranas and the Itihasas are the examples of how these Vedas are to be practiced. So that's why Vedavyasa wrote the 18 Puranas, and then the Mahabharata is one of the Itihasa, and Ramayana is the other Itihasa. So they are all practical aspects of how to follow the path of Vedas. That's what it is. Now, among the Puranas and Itihasas, 2 are Itihasas, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Now, all others are called Puranas. Why these 2 things are called as Itihasa, Ramayana as well as Mahabharata? That a question comes to us. Itihasa, that's how you split the word. Iti means this is how, firmly, asa happened. This is how it happened is the literal meaning of the word Itihasa. Why is it called this is how happened? Because the composer of Ramayana is Valmiki and the composer of Mahabharata is Vedavyasa. And both of them are contemporaries. That is, when Ramayana took place, Valmiki was very much present in that particular period. Similarly, in Mahabharata, when the events happened, Veda Vyasa was physically present at that point of time. So they are almost certifying pramanam. That means they are giving the proof that we were all present when these events have happened, and that's why it is called as itihasas. So among the two itihasas, Mahabharata is the bigger itihasa because it contains about 125,000 slokas. Ramayana contains about 24,000. Both are important, no doubt about it. But the Mahabharata contains 125,000 slokas, and that's why it is called as Iti Panchamo Vedaha. This is called the fifth Veda. So we have the four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharvana, the four Vedas. The fifth Veda is Mahabharata, because what is contained in the Vedas is fully contained in Mahabharata, and what is not contained in Mahabharata, you cannot find it in any other text. That's the greatness of Mahabharata. So 125,000 slokas are there in Itihasa, in Mahabharata. So for a human being to study and understand the entire Mahabharata is very difficult. So when the rishis wrote all those things, so subsequently the people who came later, they studied the entire Mahabharatas over different spans of life, and finally they have taken out what is the saram, that is the essence of the Mahabharata. They have got it into, if you just filter the Mahabharata, you will get two things out of the Mahabharata. One is the Bhagavad Gita, the other is the Vishnu Sahasranam. Now, Bhagavad Gita is, of course, all of us know that it contains 18 chapters, about 720 slokas, and it was given by Bhagavan Krishna to Arjuna in the battlefield. So that is one. So it was given by a Bhagavan to Bhakta. So that is what it is. When you come to Vishnu Sahasranama, the Vishnu Sahasranama setting is somewhere subsequent to the Kurukshetra war. The war was fought for about 18 days, and after the war was over, Bhishma Pitamaha was lying in the arrow of beds, and then that happened during Hemanta, what do you call that? This Hemanta Parva, that is somewhere in the December, January, that is December 15th to January 15th period, the war took place. And he was waiting for Uttarayana, because the Bhishma Pitamaha had got, he has got a boon from his father, who said that you can leave this body at any time at your will. Swachanda Mrityu. That means whenever you want to leave this body, you can leave this body. That was the boon he has got. So I was waiting for the onset of Uttarayana, because people say that if you leave the body at the time of Uttarayana, it's beneficial to the Jivatma, and therefore he was waiting for the onset of the Uttarayana. So after the war was over, Yudhishthira was completely, before the war started, Arjuna was confused. And therefore Lord had to give Bhagavad Gita to clarify his role of Dharma, and therefore he fought the battle. But after the war was over, Dharmaputra was completely confused. He was worried, he was getting confused. I killed my guru, I killed Bhishma Pitamaha, I killed all my cousins, and then I got this, this kingdom, is it worth pursuing this or not, and so on and so forth. So Lord Krishna comes to Yudhishthira and said, let's all go to Bhishma Pitamaha. He is going to be in this world only for about maybe a week or 10 days. And he was an epitome of Dharma. He knows Dharma fully well. And since you are going to be the king of Hastinapura and you are going to rule the kingdom, so you need to know the complete nuances of Dharma. And let's all go to Bhishma Pitamaha and learn from him what Dharma is. So they all went, all the Pancha Pandavas along with Draupadi, and Krishna goes to Bhishma Pitamaha. And then they talk to him about the various Dharma, and Bhishma Pitamaha gives him all Dharmas. So the Apad Dharma, Raja Dharma, Moksha Dharma, then Ashrama Dharma, Varna Dharma, so many Dharmas are there. So he talks to him about all Dharmas. It is all contained in Anusasana Parva, which is the 13th Parva. Mahabharata has got 18 Parvas. The Anusasana Parva is the 13th Parva. So in the Anusasana Parva, all the Dharmas have been given. Once all the Dharmas were given, finally Bhishma Pitamaha, Yudhishthira is asking a question, oh Pitamaha, you gave me all these Dharmas and so on and so forth. So I want to ask you, which is the best Dharma, which according to you, O Dharma Sarva Dharmana Bhavata Paramo Mataha. That means according to your own opinion, which is the best Dharma that I should follow? That's what he asks him. And finally he says, uttering the name of the Lord is the best Dharma that I have known, and therefore especially Vishnu is the supreme God, and therefore uttering the name of the Vishnu is the best Dharma. Indirectly, Bhagavan, this is at the end of fag end of the Dwapara Yuga. So they were all part of the Dwapara Yugam, and after the ascent of Krishna to Vaikuntham, the Kali Yuga was born. So it was only a few years from then onwards, Kali Yuga was about to be born. So the Lord, so in his own compassion, wanted the Kali Yuga people to know about the dharma of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, it's very difficult to follow any dharma. It's difficult to follow Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. So many things are very difficult. So the only thing which is easy to follow in Kali Yuga is only the Nama Sankirtan. So that's why Sri Sukha says in Bhagavatam, says to Parikshit, his disciple, he says that, Kaler Doshanidher Rajan Hyasti Eko Mahan Gunaha Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sango Param Vrajet. So he says Kali Yuga is full of dosha. Doshanidher Rajan is completely with doshams. It means all this, the unrighteousness will be there throughout in Kali Yuga. But Hasti Eko Mahan Guna. But there is one good quality in Kali Yuga. What is that? Kirtanadeva Krishnasya. By just chanting the name of Krishna, Mukta Sango Param Vraja. That means he will be relieved from these shackles of this world and completely attain the moksha. So the best dharma in Kali Yuga is only chanting the name of the Lord. So that is the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga. So when the Kali Yuga was about to be born, so Krishna wanted Bhishma Pitamaha to say the 1,000 names of the Lord, so that the posterity, people in the Kali Yuga, will completely benefit out of learning the Vishnu Sahasranama and chanting it, and therefore completely getting whatever things that is required in this world, as well as going beyond and reaching the ultimate abode of the Lord. So that is the greatness, that was the intention of Lord Krishna in bringing Dharmaputra into to Bhishma Pitamaha and asking him to talk about all these things. So that's why in the Anusasana Parva, in the 149th chapter, Adhyaya, you find this Vishnu Sahasranama, which is being initially with the conversation between Bhishma Pitamaha and Yudhishthira, and subsequently Yudhishthira, of course, he asks his questions. Bhishma Pitamaha, because of his so many, with so much of body pain, could have just stopped with answering the 6 questions. But then he also had great compassion for this entire posterity and as well as for Yudhishthira. And therefore, he said he didn't stop by saying that just chanting the name of the Lord is the best dharma, but I will tell you the 1,000 names of the Lord. So that's what he says. He said the 1,000 names of the Lord, which has been completely, in presence of Lord Krishna, who completely, endorsed the 1,000 names that has been mentioned by Bhishma Pitamaha. So the Vishnu Sahasranama is a greater than even in Bhagavad Gita in a sense, because Bhagavad Gita is not an Parayana Grantha. It is an Anushtana Grantha. Anushtana Grantha means you need to follow what the Lord has said. The Lord has said Karma Yoga, the Lord has spoken about Jnana Yoga. But finally, in that Charama Slokam or the 18th chapter, 66th sloka, Lord says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Hamtva Sarva Papebhya Mochesha. At least you do Saranagati to me. That's what the Lord says. So at least you need to do Saranagati. At least that kind of a thing you need to do. Whereas Vishnu Sahasranam is called Parayana Grantha. Parayana Grantha means all you need to do is just chant the name. Nothing else you need to do. You don't have to do Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Nothing is required. Just do the Parayana. Parayana means just chant the Vishnu Sahasranama. That is enough for you to take care of whatever things that is required in this world and life beyond. So that's the greatness of Vishnu Sahasranama. And that in that sense, it is even a shade better than Bhagavad Gita. Because Bhagavad Gita has got about 700 slokas. Difficult for one to even understand the 700 slokas, whereas at least this you stops with about 108 plus the Purvanga, Uttaranga all put together, about 150 slokas is enough for us to understand. So that is the greatness of Vishnu Sahasranama. That is how the setting where it was born and the purpose for which it was recited by Bhishma Pitamaha to Yudhishthira. So this is the greatness of Vishnu Sahasranama. Now, having understood the greatness of Vishnu Sahasranama, let's now understand how the sequencing of Vishnu Sahasranama is. And the first 6 slokas, starting from Shuklam Bharadaram up to SS Marana Matrana, these slokas are not found in Mahabharata. These have been given by our elders or the Purva Acharyas. In the 6 slokas represent what? The first 2 slokas are for removing the hurdles. Because if you do any good thing, normally the Devas themselves will put hurdles on you. They'll try to, because the one greatness about this world is Manushya Janma. The Janmanam Durlabha Nara Janma. That means getting a human birth is the greatness, is itself a very, auspicious, and it's very difficult to get that. Because in this, from Nara Janma, you can go straight to moksha, whereas from Devaloka or even the Indra cannot go directly to moksha as such. He has to either be born as a human being or wait till the entire the entire Pralaya takes place, and thereafter he can go, he can reach Vaikuntha. So they are all jealous of the human being. So even if you want to take some good steps, they'll try to put some obstacles or hurdles on them. So the first two slokas are for removing the hurdles in our chanting of Vishnu Sahasranam and trying to do any good thing. The second two slokas, the third and fourth, are in praise of Vyasa Bhagavan. Vyasa Bhagavan is the person who has given this Mahabharata, and in that enshrined is the Vishnu Sahasranama. So he himself is an avatar of Lord Vishnu. That's what we say, Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya, Vyasa Rupaya Vishnavi. That means Vishnu himself has descended on earth as Vyasa. So we give, in our gratitude towards the Vyasa Bhagavan, we recite the third and fourth sloka. The fifth and sixth sloka is the Ati Devata. That means the person who is being spoken of in Vishnu Sahasranam is Mahavishnu. So we speak, the two slokas are in praise of Mahavishnu as such. So these are the 6 slokas. Now after that is the conversation begins, which is in the Mahabharata, starting from Vaishampayana Vacha right up to Vishnum Jishnum Mahavishnu. So then we have the Purvanyasa or Anganyasa Karanyasa, which is also not part of Mahabharata. Then you have the Dhyana slokas. Dhyana slokas are giving different forms of Mahavishnu for us to meditate when you chant Vishnu Sahasranama or something like that. So those are about 7-8 slokas and Dhyana slokas. Then we have the basic 107 slokas of Mahavishnu, where the various names of the Lord are given. The 108th sloka again is not in Mahabharata, but has been given by our Purva Acharyas. And thereafter the Palashruti. Palashruti is 22 slokas given by Bhishma Pitamahar, saying that what are the things that you get by chanting the Vishnu Sahasranama. So he says almost everything. You will get anything in this world. Because if you want to get in this world, supposing if you want to get progeny, you go to Santana Lakshmi. But if you want to go in knowledge, you go to Dakshinamurti. But if you want to gain anything in this world, go to Mahavishnu and chant this Vishnu Sahasranam. That's what Bhishma Pitamahar says. You get everything in this world. So what is required for this world and life beyond also. So all these things are given the Palashruti. Subsequently, another about 11-12 slokas are given by our Purva Acharyas, which are found in different granthas, like Arjuna Vacha, then the conversation between Parvati Devi and Parameshwara about the importance of Ramanama and so on, how the one Ramanama is equivalent to 1,000 names of the Lord and so on. So those are all from different Puranas. They have been compiled and said as part of the Vishnu Sahasranam. So we'll be covering the entire portion over the 6-month period, 25, mostly around 25 sessions of about 1 hour and 15 minutes each. So what the format of our discussion would be, I will chant each sloka up front. One of you can follow me with that sloka. Then I will split the, of course, for the namas, each nama, I will mention about the meaning of each and every nama. I'll give some 2-3 interpretations given by different Bhashyakaras. Of course, I will come to that when we talk about the namas of the Lord. Initially, in the Purvangas, I will cover broad meaning of each of the slokas. But of course, if you have any doubts in the last 10 minutes, you can ask me doubts on that. So with this, we just start the first portion, which is Shuklam Bharadaram. So the first sloka is Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. Anyone can chant. Maybe you can ask one of the persons to chant.
Can we have Girija Sridhar? Girija Sridhar?
Namaskaram, Vishji.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Can you please first sloka?
Yeah. Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye.
Okay. Now, how do we split the words in this sloka? Shuklam, Bharadharam, Vishnum, Shashivarnam, Chaturbhujam, Prasannavadanam, Dhyayet, Sarva, Vignopashante. So now, the predicate in this is Dhyayet. Dhyayet means should be meditated upon. Dhyayet means should be meditated upon. Who should be meditated upon? Vishnu. Mahavishnu is to be meditated upon. Now, there are different adjectives given for Mahavishnu. Shuklam Bharadharam. Shuklam means white in color. So Shukla Paksham we say, no? Shukla Paksham is the waxing moon. Shukla means white in color. Bharadaram means Bara. Shuklam Bara. Shukla Ambara is Shuklam Bara. Shuklam Ambara means cloth, white cloth. Dhara means one is wearing. So one who is wearing white cloth. Mahavishnu, one of the adjective is one who is wearing the white cloth. Shashi Varnam. Shashi means the moon. So who is white in color. So he is bright as moon. So he is called as Shashi Varnam. Chaturbhujam. Chaturbhujam means he has got four hands. Four arms. So each four arms, that each one carries a Shankha, Chakra, Gada and Padma. Padma means lotus flower. So he's carrying these four things in his four arms. So he's called as Chaturbhujam. He has got four arms. Prasanna Vadanam. That means who is ever smiling in his face. Vadanam means face. Prasanna means very smiling and very clear in his face. So that is the other adjective of Mahavishnu. So this is Mahavishnu, whose adjectives are Shuklam Baradaram. That means one who is wearing a white cloth, one who is very shining as moon, and one who has got four limbs, four arms, and one who is very prasanna. That means one is very smiling in his face. Sarva Vigna, what for? Why should he meditate on the Lord? Is called Sarva Vigna Upashante. Sarva Vigna means for all hurdles, all difficulties that come in the way. Upashante, that means to remove all the hurdles that come across in our way. That means when we are reciting Vishnu Sahasranam, or when we are chanting Vishnu Sahasranam, when we are trying to learn about Vishnu Sahasranam, there are some hurdles which come. Because normally there are three types of hurdles which come. We call it as Adibhutam, Adidevam, Adhyatmikam. Adhyatmikam is something which is inner to our own self. That means, the laziness, the alas. So we say that, okay, it's all available in YouTube. I can read it from books. Why should I come and spend 1 hour and 15 minutes? Those kind of attitudes come, no? Getting up early in the morning, it's very cold and so on. That is called Adhyatmikam. Those kind of problems. Adi Devikam, that means the nature. That means suddenly, of course, if it is physical one, suddenly there is some heavy rain, some tsunami happens, earthquakes and so on. That is called Adi Deva. Adi Bautikam. Adi Bautikam means some other bhuta. That means suddenly your friend comes. He says, let's go out here. We'll go for a small chat, or we'll go to the park. Let's enjoy something. I want to go to Vishnu Sahasranam. Vishnu Sahasranam is available in the YouTube. You have got so many. MS Subbulakshmi's tape is there. You just listen to it. It's enough. Why do you want to spend so much of time? We'll enjoy our time. Something like that. So that is Adi. So these kind of hurdles do happen. So what we are praying to Vishnu is to remove all these hurdles so that my path becomes smooth. So that is the first sloka. Second sloka. Yasya dvirata vaktradyah parishadyah parashyatam vignam nignanti shatatam vishvaksenam tamashraye. Anybody?
Yeah.
One person.
Yeah. Bhavani Prasad, Garu? Bhavani Prasad?
Yasyat virada vikratyah parishatyah parasatam vignam nishanti satatam vishvaksenam tamashraye.
So here the predicate is tamashraye. Ashraye. Ashraye means, I get associated with him. So that means who? Who should I get associated with? Vishvaksenam. Vishvaksena, in Vaikuntha, there are different Nityasuris. Nityasuris are people who do service to the Lord completely, like Garuda Bhagavan is the vehicle of the Lord. Adiseshan is his serpent, his bed. And therefore, like that, Vishvaksena is one person who is the commander-in-chief. The Lord creates this world and then completely delegates to Vishvaksena for running this entire day-to-day administration of the world. Even if you go to, most of you are from Andhra, so if you have this Brahmotsam, which has just finished, and therefore now you are going to Navaratri Brahmotsam. So on the day of this Dvajarohanam, that is when the flag is hoisted in the morning, the Vishvaksena Bhagavan will go around the temple, and then he will come back and report to the Lord saying that, yes, I have gone through the entire temple, all the arrangements have been well made, and therefore you can start your Brahmotsam. So Vishvaksena is said to be one of the commander-in-chief of the Lord. So he's in charge of the day-to-day administration of the world. So I'm just associating or surrendering unto Vishvaksena. And who has got what? Yasya dvirata vaktradyaha. Dvirata vaktradyaha means one who has got elephant-faced. Parishadyaha means servants. He has got elephant-faced servants, and he has got also the lion-faced servants. He has got the tiger-faced servants. Parashatam, that means hundreds of such servants are there. Vignam Nigdanti. So those kind of servants and Vishvaksena can, Vignam means all these hurdles, Nignanti, that means he completely shatters. Satatam, hundreds of all those hurdles will completely being shattered by Vishvaksena, who has got hundreds and hundreds of servants with different faces. with under him. So I just associate or surrender unto Vishwaksena for removing this kind of hurdles. So these first two slokas are for removing the hurdles that will come across in our way of learning the progressing on the path of spirituality. Okay, next sloka, next third and fourth are in praise of Bhagwan Vyasa. Vyasam Vasishta Naptaram Shakte Pautramakalmasham Parasharatmajam Vande Shukatatam Taponidhim.
Yashoda Chavana.
Vyasam Vasishtanaptaram Sekte Pautramakalmasham Parasaratmajam Vande Sukatatam Taponidhim.
So here the predicate is Vande. Vande means I bow to him. Who? Vyasam. I bow to Vyasa. Who is Vyasa? Vasishtanaptaram. He is the great grandson of Vasishta. If you look at the lineage of Vyasa, that's what is being mentioned here. All the people are being mentioned. Mahavishnu created Brahma. From Brahma came Vasishta. From Vasishta came Shakti. From Shakti came Parasara. From Parasara came Vyasa. And from Vyasa came Shuka. So these are the entire lineage is being talked about in this shloka. So he is the great grandson of Vasishta. Shaktehe Pautram. He is the Pautra means the son's son, grandson. Shakti, he is the grandson of Shakti. Akalmasham means without, the Vyasa has got no even blemish of bad qualities. That means he's absolutely pure. He's not impure at all. He's completely pure. Akalmasham. Parasharatmajam. He is the son of Parashara, sage Rishi. Parashara is one of the great Rishi who composed the Vishnu Purana. So he's one of the great. So the reason why it is being said is each one of them is a great person by itself. Vasishta was the Kula Guru of Ichvaku Vamsa. His son Shakti was also a great Rishi. Then his son Parashara was one of the great Rishis. Parasharat Atmajam Vande. Shukatat, again his son is also a great person. Shukar was the person, Shuka Muni was the person who gave the entire Bhagavata to Parikshit. If you look at the Parikshit, the conversation is between Shuka and Parikshit. That is the entire conversation of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he is the father of Shuka. That means the entire lineage is so great. So that's what I'm saying. So that means he's born in such a great lineage and obviously he has to be a great person. So I bow down to Vyasa Maharishi, who is the great grandson of Vasishta, who is the grandson of Shakti, and who is absolutely pure, and who is the son of Parashara, and who is the father of Shuka. The next sloka is Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahma Nidaye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha.
Can we have Venkatrama Pavani quickly?
Okay. Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahma Nidaye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha.
Okay. So Namo Namaha. So I praise, I salute who? Vyasa. My salutations are to Vyasa. Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya. Vyasa in the form of Vishnu. Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave. Vishnu in the form of Vyasa. So both are, that means it says both are identical. Vyasa and Vishnu are one and the same. So I bow down to Vyasa who is in the form of Vishnu. I bow down to Vishnu who is in the form of Vyasa. Namo Vai. Brahma Nidaye. Brahma Nidaye means Brahma. He is completely the knowledge, who is the reciprocity of the entire Brahmic knowledge. The great knowledge is the reciprocity of complete knowledge. Because the Vyasa Bhagavan has done so much. If Vyasa Bhagavan were not there in the Dwapara Yuga, our religion would not have survived in this Kali Yuga. Because to tell you the greatness of Vyasa Bhagavan, the entire Vedas, the 4 Vedas, they were all in complete form. That is, there was no, they were not classified into various forms, and therefore he was the person who classified into Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharvana, so that each one was taught to one of his disciples who spread that various forms of these Vedas. Then he wrote something called Brahma Sutras. Brahma Sutra, the entire essence of the Vedas, he brought it out into Brahma Sutras, about 765 sutras. Sutras means aphorisms, told in a very simple language, but each one has got pregnant with meaning. So Brahma Sutras was given by Vyasa. Then he wrote all these 18 Puranas. Then he wrote Mahabharata, which is the 5th Veda itself. Such is the greatness of Vyasa. Had it not been for Vyasa, this Hinduism would not have been in existence in the Kali Yuga. So such is the great knowledge of Brahmanidaye. Vasishtaya, and who has come from the the Grotram, Vasishta Gotram. That means who has come in the lineage of Vasishta. So I offer my salutations to Vyasa Bhagavan as such. So these third and fourth are in praise of Vyasa Bhagavan, who is the author of the Mahabharata. Now we move on to this fifth sloka. Avikaraya Shuddhaya Nityaya Paramatmane Sadeka Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Sarvajishnave.
Suguna Sandhi Reddy, please.
Avikaraya Shuddhaya Nityaya Paramatmane Sadeka Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Sarvajishnave.
Okay, so the fifth and sixth sloka, as I said, it's for in praise of Lord Vishnu, who is the Ati Devata in the Vishnu Sahasranama. Avikaraya, that means who doesn't undergo any changes. Vikara means undergoing the changes. He is a changeless person. He doesn't undergo, because his body is not made up of these Panchabhutas like ourselves. He is Aprakrita Sariram. That means which is not part of this Panchabhutas, and therefore he doesn't undergo any change. In fact, our Shastra says the Vaikuntha Mahavishnu remains ever like a youth in 16 years old or something like that. So that's why he doesn't undergo any change. Avikaraya. Shuddhaya. Shuddhaya means ever pure. So subsequently we are going to read Pavitranam Pavitramyo Mangalanam cha Mangalam. So he gives purity to the pure things as such. So he is ever pure. He doesn't undergo, he doesn't have any, even a dirt in him. So there is not even a single dirt in him, and therefore he is ever pure, and therefore he is called Shuddhaya. Nityaya. Nityaya means a person who is present in all periods of time. That means he was present in the past, he is present now, he will be present in future. So that's what Bhagavan says in Srimad Bhagavatam Chatusloki to Nara Sri Brahma. Ahameva samevagram nanyadyat sadasat param paschadakam edetacha yova sishyeta sosam. That means I was present when nobody was there, I am present now, I am going to be present when nobody is going to be there. So that means he is present in all periods of time. So he is called as Nityaya. Paramatmane. That means he is the ultimate. Param means ultimate. He is the ultimate Atma. We are all Jivatmas. Finally, we are going to merge into him, and therefore he is called as Paramatma. He is the ultimate Lord, and therefore he is called as Paramatmane. Sadeka Rupa Rupa. Sada Eka Rupa Rupa. That means ever in one single form. As Mahavishnu in Sri Vaikuntham, and therefore he is called as Sadeka Rupa Rupaya. Vishnave, O Mahavishnu, Sarva Jishnave, ever victorious. Jishna means victory. He is ever victorious. In all his avatars, he is able to kill all the demons and asuras, and therefore establish supremacy. And therefore I pray, my salutations are to that Vishnu who is ever successful in all his missions. And therefore he is called as Vishnave Sarva Jishnave. So the next sloka. Yasya smarana matrena janma samsara bandhanat vimuchyate namastasmai Vishnave prabha Vishnave.
Lata Raman, please. Can we have Lata Raman?
यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण जन्म संसारबन्धनात् विमुच्यते नमस्तस्मै विष्णवे प्रभ विष्णवे.
So again in praise of Lord Vishnu. Yasya smarana matrena. That means just by thinking about Lord Vishnu. Smarana matrena means just thinking about just by remembering about him. Janma samsara bandhana. By just remembering about Lord Vishnu, we will be removed from this birth, the shackles of this birth and death, janma samsara. That means the birth and death cycle. Punarapi jananam, maranam, punarapi janani jatares. Adi Shankara says that. So we are getting into this birth cycle of we are born, we are dead, we are born, we are dead, we are born. This cycle, we are removed from the shackle of this samsara by just remembering about Lord Vishnu himself. Yasya smarana janma samsara vimuchyate. That means he relieves us from this samsara bandham. Namastasme. So for him, all my prostrations are unto this Mahavishnu. Vishnave Prabha Vishnu. Oh, Vishnu, Prabha Vishnu. That means Vishnu has taken different forms. Prabhavati. That means he has taken different avatars. Mahavishnu. In different avatars he has taken in this world. So to that kind of a Vishnu, who by just remembering about him is able to remove us from the shackles of this Janma Samsara, to that Mahavishnu, I offer my prostrations unto him. So this is what that 6 slokas. First 2 slokas for removing the hurdles. Next 2 slokas in praise of Vyasa Bhagavan, and the next 2 slokas are in praise of Mahavishnu, who is the Ati Devata of this Vishnu Sahasranam. So this covers the pralyo, the front portion of the Vishnu Sahasranam, which has been given by our elders or the Purva Acharyas in praise of Vishnu Sahasranam. Then we move on to the direct Vishnu Sahasranam as enshrined in the Mahabharata. That will take up from tomorrow. So we have about 6-7 minutes. So any questions, any doubts people have, we can raise those points.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you so much.
Anybody wants to ask any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a guide where these meanings are mentioned so that we don't have to write in the slokas book what was
There
told?
are different books. Of course, you get it in India. I don't know whether you get it in US or no, but there are different books available, and Shankara Bhashya is very freely available. It is available in internet also. So Shankara Bhagavan's meaning is available. You can just browse through, and then Vishnu Sahasranam meanings in English is available in internet. You can get it. But the other bhashyams like say Parasara Bhattar or Anandita is difficult to get it in internet. But there are books available in India. Maybe you can ask somebody to buy for you, and then definitely they are available.
Okay, thank you.
By any chance, do we get recordings from these classes, Andy?
I will try to share them. I will try to share.
That's awesome, and thank you.
गुरुजी एक सवाल पूछने का है.
Yes, पूछ लीजिए.
अभी जो श्लोक था जिसमें यस्य स्मरण मात्रेण जन्म संसार बंधना, तो ये जो स्मरण है वो नित्य चाहिए या एट द एंड ऑफ योर, मतलब जैसे वो नारायण उसने बुलाया था उस टाइम में चाहिए?
So how will you get your smarana at the end? So when the Lord Yamadutas approach you, what is most important will only appear at that point of time. So only if you do practice regularly, or keep your mind telling that this is important, at the time of death, this nama will come. In fact, if you go, the subtle aspect of this Ajamila Charitram is, because he did all this Agnihotram and Veda Puranam, he was able to keep the name of Narayana for his last son. So that's how it has happened. And therefore, Bhagavan also out of his mercy made him get attached to his son at that point of time. And that's how he tried to change him. And therefore, finally, at the ultimate end, he got the blessings of Lord Narayana as such. So you need to have some efforts taken. Then only God also helps you at some point of time.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Otherwise, just wait. In fact, Krishna says, Antakala Smaranam. That means whatever you think at the time of your death, the next birth will be determined by that. So that's what Bhagavan says. So to get the name of the Lord at the time of last is something, unless you practice it over a period of time and give importance to it to your mind every day, then it won't come as a flash at the time when at the time of death. So that's why you need to keep practicing it regularly so that you have the Antasmaranam as Bhagavan as such.
Thank you very much.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Yes.
I thought Shuklam Bharadaram is for Ganesha Stuti, but so we usually
some people attribute it to Ganesha also. Nothing wrong with that, because the same Bhagavan was manifested in different forms. Lord Ganesha also Lord Vishnu's form only, because you will find somewhere in the Vishnu Ganeshwaraha also is there, the name of the Lord. We got Skandaha as the name of the Lord. Mahashakti is there. So Shivaha. So all are.
Yes,
there.
But this is for purely for Vishnu Stuti, right? This Shuklam Bharadaram?
Yes. Vishnu, because the name Vishnu occurs. Because some people interpret the word Vishnu. Of course, one meaning of Vishnu is ever pervasive. That is all pervasive. That means it's present everywhere. So they say Ganesha is also ever all pervasive, and therefore they attribute. There's nothing wrong in that. Your Ishtadevata is Ganesha, you can still chant Shuklam Bharadaram, and then definitely will accept it, no doubt about that.
No. We usually for Ganesha, to start any work, we chant this sloka.
Yeah.
We don't know
but
that.
The real meaning of this is only Vishnu. If you look at I told you all these slokas, everything is it specifically mentions the name Vishnu, no? Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnu Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayat Sarva Vignopashanti. Of course, Ganesha is for removal of hurdles and obstacles also, and therefore people may be chanting this sloka there also.
But without knowing the meaning, what we usually understand is Ganesha's other name also Vishnu, we thought like that.
That's what it is. Maybe
Yes,
because
yes.
you can. So when Vishnu is all pervasive, everything. So finally, we are going to the first name of Vishnu Sahasranam is not Vishnu, it is Vishwam. The first name of the Lord is Vishwam. Vishwam means the entire universe. So whatever entire universe is Bhagavan, whether it is Ganesha, whether it is Parvati, whether it is Shiva, whether this is chair, whether even animate, inanimate things also, whether this is chair, this laptop, everything is Mahavishnu. That is Vishwam. So of course we have got to see in that bhava as such. But then once the name Vishnu itself means all pervading. That is, it is present everywhere throughout. That's what it is.
Okay, Guruji, thank you. Can we get any PDF for the meanings?
We have not published any meaning as such. As of now, I don't know. I will not be able to say, but we'll try to work on this project as such.
Okay, thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
But it's there in Tamil, but unfortunately, I don't think we have it in English as such.
Yeah, we want Telugu or in English.
Yeah, correct.
நமஸ்காரம். ஒரே ஒரு கொஸ்டின். ஃபோர்த்
Yes.
ஸ்லோகம்ல நமோ வை பிரம்ம நிதையேக்கு மாத்திரம் ஒரே ஒரு நிமிஷம் திருப்பி மீனிங் சொல்லிருங்க ப்ளீஸ்.
My Brahma Nidaye means Brahma means knowledge. One who is reciprocity of this complete jnana. Namo vai. Namo my namaskarams to that the person who is the knowledge, who is complete nidhi of knowledge, who has got the entire knowledge. Atma Jnanam is completely in him. So to him, I am just bowing before him. That's what it is.
Okay, thank you.
Guruji,
Yes.
can you please the Tamil version இருக்கிறதங்க ஷேர் பண்றீங்களா அந்த வெப்சைட் எதுல இருக்குன்னு?
Sure.
Thank you.
Tamil and English and Karnataka, English and Hindi also, we will try to do it. We have printed by Karnataka division. I think we will try to discuss. And Tamil we have right now, we can send it also. We'll do before next week, sir.
Maybe we'll take a PDF copy and then circulate it to them. That's one. PDF may be available with the printer. Printer might have the PDF copy because they use it to print.
Sivaram has got it.
Sivaram Krishnan must have got it.
Yeah, I'll get it and circulate it in the group. Everybody.
Sure.
Vanakkam, sir. Another question on this. Bhishma is the one who is chanting this Vishnu Sahasranamam. But then he didn't die while he was chanting or after he was chanting. But he waited for Uttarayanam. Why did he wait for Uttarayanam and when is Uttarayanam?
That is a difficult question to answer. So, what our Shastra says is, whenever any person leaves this body, actually Bhishma Pitama did not go to moksha. According to our Shastras, he went to only Swargam. Swargam is the abode of Lord Indra. So, he was one of the Ashtavasus who was cursed and therefore he had to be born as Bhishma Pitama. That's what the Puranas say. Now, Uttarayanam is the period when the sun moves in the northern direction. Dakshina is when he moves to the southern direction. The northern direction starts from the Makara Masam, that is the Thai Masam. You know Tamil, Thai Masam. That is 15th of July is the onset of the Uttarayanam period. And therefore, when sun starts moving that, the Shastra says that if any Jiva leaves this body during Uttarayana period, he will go to heaven. That's what it says. So he was waiting for that period. So he was waiting for that period because he had the boon from his father that he can die at any point of time at his will. And therefore, he was waiting for the onset of the Uttarayana. That's what.
So he was waiting for more than 6 months, 7 months from
Not
December.
7. It happened in December, no? I said January 15th. So about 2-3 weeks he was waiting. The entire war took place in the month of Margasisham. That is between 15th of December to 15th of January. The war took about 18 days or something like that. So maybe after the war was over, 7-8 days, he just waited for the onset of the Uttarayana. That's what he was waiting.
Very lively session, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
It's time for winding up, no?
Yes. Thank you.
I have one
Yes.
thing to be clarified. This
Sure.
recording will be posted in our official YouTube channel, sir. I will post the YouTube channel in the group so that everyone can subscribe and you can just see the recording over there, sir. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Kalaivani ji, for the clarification.
And Guruji, I was asked.
Yes.
This is Shanti. I was asked to recite the closing prayer. Are we doing that?
Yes. We are doing that.
Mishti, I have one question, one final question. It's regarding first shloka. Can I please ask?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
This is regarding the Vignam, the three types of Vignams that Guruji explained, Adibhutam and the three self, external beings and nature. For women, especially mothers, from the time the baby is conceived until they pretty much leave the house or something, they're always in the back of our minds, right? So I almost find it impossible to not think about the kids, like when they need my attention or need my help. When I sit for Vishnu Sahasranamam, and it's only natural to feel the guilt that I'm not able to focus, right? What category of, I wouldn't call it hurdles, but distraction, right? Can I
Adhyatmikam, because it's only internal to your mind, no?
Okay.
What is internal to oneself is Adhyatmikam.
Okay. So it's a part of my own self that is
exactly. Because you are so much concerned about your child, and therefore your mind is preoccupied with that itself.
When they come and need my attention to it, it's still a part of my own mind, is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Sir? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Vishwanath, your last question for me, not question, but I want to find out. Tamil, we can send it to anybody, but instead of sending it to the group, if anybody is interested, they can give their name, email ID to you. We can send it to them. It's a quick thing. We can send it to them. English and Sanskrit, we can arrange within a week or 10 days from back home.
So you can post it in this WhatsApp group. Just post it in the PDF. They can use it from there. Wherever they want to take it, they can take it. No?
Why to send it to everybody? There may be hardly about 10, 12, 15 people in Tamil. So let us see. We'll do. You can just find out, sir. They can those who understand Tamil can post it to in the group, and we'll arrange it for them. Okay.
Yeah.
For others also, in a week or 10 days, we'll try to do that.
Sure. Yeah. So
thank you, sir. Very interesting. See you next week, Saturday again. Huh?
Yeah. So anybody who is interested in the Tamil version, please private message me so that with your email ID so that I can organize that to be sent. Once I have the English and the Sanskrit version, I will let you guys know. But before you all drop off, we will have the ending prayer. And anybody who has forgotten to enter their name in the chat for the attendance, please do that, and do not forget that. Even if you do it a second time also, that's not a problem. Please don't forget to do that. Okay. Thank you. Now, can we have Shanti?
Yes.
Shanti to actually do the ending prayer.
Once again, thank you for a good start, Vishwanath ji, and the entire Google team. Let's praise him and Narayan for the success in the another 25 classes. Thank you. Om Namo Venkatesaya.
Thank you.
So am I chanting 3 times?
Yes.
Okay. Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane Rama Nama Varanana Om Nama Iti.
Om Namo Venkatesaya. Pranam and Dhanyavad to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you,
Guruji. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you,
Namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Pranam and thank you, Guruji.